everyone, I'm Jyoti and I am the current chair of International Association of Business Communicators or IABC in the Asia Pacific. I'm speaking to you from my home in Singapore and I'm so excited to be here today. For 4 years now, IABC in Asia Pacific has been honoring the most outstanding leaders and communication professionals through our annual Communicator of the Year award, and this year has been exceptional. This year's winner in the Executive Leaders category is the current President and CEO of one of the most trusted banks in the Philippines, the Bank of the Philippine Islands, more locally known as the BPI. Throughout his career, our winner has held top executive management positions, including serving as the Chief Financial Officer, Chief Risk Officer, and Chief Sustainability Officer of yet another big group of companies in his home country. During his stint as a CFO, he was dubbed as the CFO of the Year by the Financial Executives Institute of the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, from the CFO of the Year to the IABC Asia Pacific 2023 Communicator of the Year Executive Leader, TG. TG, congratulations, and how are you today?
Thanks very much, Jyoti. I'm fine, and thanks very much for hosting this, and thank you to the IABC for this honor.
And now it's great to have you here. And I must say, we were impressed by the credentials and the entry that was put together. So it is a pleasure to be spending a little bit of time to get to know your journey and what brought you here. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, so I have a lot to ask you on behalf of the IBC APAC team, but it's been reported that BPI is going through a digital transformation journey, which began in a couple of years ago in 2021. How has communication played a role in that journey, given that you have a clientele of more than 5 million people on your digital channels?
That's a great question. You know, communication has always been the most important part about getting this movement going, because you're basically changing the way people behave. So the way I look at it, we've had to communicate to two different audiences. We've had to communicate with the people inside the bank and outside to our customers. So inside the bank, we had to communicate as to why we were doing this, because it involved transforming the way they did their work, the way they would work with clients. One of the key things we did was to ensure that everyone got a clear mandate of what they were to tell the clients and the mission they had to make sure that every new client that we got would not leave our branch unless they were put on our digital platforms. On the client side, it's been very important to let them know why we were doing this for their benefit. When you look at clients, you always have to think about things from their perspective. So part of the mission really in communicating our digital transformation and executing this was making sure that clients first knew what benefits would be to them, and secondly, giving them the ability to communicate back to us the issues and fears and the problems that they might have. And when you get the customers comfortable with this dramatic change in the way they would do banking going forward, then you're able to move customers onto the digital platforms. Very happy to say that since we've started this journey, we're close to over half our customers are already on our digital platforms. And in fact, in the last year alone, we've put on over a 15% growth in our customer base purely because of our digital platforms.
That sounds amazing. And I really like how you started with the change being from inside out. And I think that is the key to successful change. And digital transformation is to get employees on board and then work with customers. So congratulations for that amazing achievement. I want to understand, just coming back to people, now in an organization of the size of BPI, with employees spread across, how do you keep your teams informed? How do you keep them aligned and energized through the vision and the mission and the imperatives? How do you do that?
There's really two ways. First of all, you make sure that the message is very simple and easy to digest. So first of all, we made our vision, mission very personal to them. We simplified across. We put it in a mnemonic that was very easy to remember, but was also very natural. We are on this journey of being very customer focused. And from the very beginning, the mantra was always, let's just be nice to our customers. If you treat customers and your fellow colleagues nicely, then everything works well. And from that nice word, we basically took a mnemonic to to talk about our values of being nurturing, acting with integrity, being customer obsessed, and always pursuing excellence. So NICE. So you simplify it that way. We also lifted and modernized a lot of the what I would call the internal merchandise. If you talk about it, our I would call it our BPI hymn, which everyone lives by. We modernized it. We popped it up a little bit. We made it focus to the appropriate age group of our colleagues. We made it a lot younger. We obviously also have a lot of channels by which we communicate with our employees. We use Facebook. We have pop-ups in every floor. We have posters. But we're beginning to use a lot of the digital channels to make sure that we can reach our employees and they can talk back to us. So we basically have Facebook. We use social media to reach out to them with small groups, as well as we have the traditional, I would call, coffee talks and open fora where the senior people meet. And most importantly, because we're a bank where branches are spread out all over the country, I try to make it a point to my senior team that anytime we travel outside of the metropolis, let's take time, drop by the branches, just show ourselves to make sure that people know that we are part of one team. Even though it's not an official visit, even if you're on vacation, do spend some time, drop by the branch, say hello, make everyone know that we are part of one team.
That is spot on, and there's so much learning in there. Now, you've held top positions in the organizations that you worked with, and any organization of any size, crisis is unavoidable, right? Every business goes through a crisis of some kind or the other. With BPI being such a player, it is no surprise that you not be a stranger to any of these challenges. I want to really understand from your experience and your leadership journey, what have you learned? What is a key thing to remember while preparing or managing these crises that come along the way?
Super question. The first thing you got to be aware of is try to prepare as much as possible. You have all the plans, you have all the playbooks, but obviously, if it's a crisis, that means the playbook doesn't really work. So you need to take some lessons going forward, and a couple of key items that are important. First and foremost, I think transparency and honesty are very critical. It's very essential that you are honest with your stakeholders, the employees, the customers, the shareholders. Tell them what the situation is and tell them what steps you're doing to address it. That's very key. This builds trust and credibility, and of course, manages expectations of the stakeholders. So that's rule number one. Number two is you need to be very deliberate and act quickly, act decisively. When you deal with issues or crises, every moment counts. And delaying any actions or delaying decisions will exacerbate the situation and actually lead to further negative consequences. So be prepared to act quickly and decisively. Third, you got to project this calm and composed approach no matter what, right? The leader, the communicator, you got to remain calm, focused. You need to assure yourself that you're talking, that your actions are guided by rational and strategic thinking rather than emotions, rather than the heat of the moment. And that's why sometimes it's good to have a crisis committee, because you feed off each other and you help each other think through and put this calmness on the situation. And of course, lastly, make sure that you remember that communication is key, right? The organization, the leader must ensure that the communication, the messages we send out are clear, consistent, and as I said, timely. Communication is not one way. So you got to listen to what people are saying, and you need to respond to the feedback and the concerns from the stakeholders, and then act appropriately. And then I guess my final addendum is that after the crisis, learn from the experience, right? Have a post-mortem. Every crisis provides an opportunity for learning and improvement. So do the post-mortem, take time to reflect on what happened, what went wrong, and how we can better prepare for similar events in the future. And that way you just build on that and you get better. But as I said, it's only a crisis because the game plan doesn't work, right?
Yeah. And no, that therein was a little masterclass in crisis management. Thank you, TG. I could go on and on with our conversation, but I know you've got things that to attend to in business. But that concludes our little conversation for today. Thank you for sharing your time with us today, and I really do hope that we see you in Bali for the actual award ceremony in September at Fusion 2023 conference, which is our regional conference, and we'll work with your team, and we really hope to see you and your team there, where you can share more with us and the communication professionals across the region on how you've done things differently and what made you the executive leader for 2023 for IABC Asia Pacific Communicator of the Year Award. Congratulations, TG, and thank you for being with us. For those of you who are interested in being a part of Fusion 2023 conference, whether as an attendee, as a speaker, as a partner, please do reach out to us at IABC Asia Pacific on our social handles, and consider becoming a member of IABC Asia Pacific. I've been a member for I don't know how many years, and it's the best professional investment that I made in myself. So do connect with us, reach out with any questions or feedback that you may have on this interview. And shout out to Telemedia, our sponsor and partner for the Communicator of the Year Award for this year, the second year in the row. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again in the next year's awards. This has been IBC Asia Pacific current chair, Jyoti Khan. Thank you for watching.